I remember this one time I was bartending at a little local bar many years ago. It was a small bar and they had a bathroom. And I usually don't like doing this, but I had to take a number two really bad and I was into my shift for a while. So I had like 5 or 6 people there and I told them all, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. You know, it was a local bar, so it wasn't a big deal. And I said, anybody need a Keno ticket? You know, yeah, they all did. So I ran them all a ticket. And I said, all right, I'll be back in a few minutes. I went in the bathroom. I sat down on the toilet, and not fucking 2 minutes later, this person comes in there with their ticket, waving it over the fucking stall door. I couldn't believe it, dude. Yeah, waving it over at the stall door at me, telling me they need a ticket. I couldn't believe it. I told them to get the hell out of there, and I'll get them a ticket when I get done. And, you know, they're all superstitious. No, no, I need it now, or I'm going to lose out, and I won't make any, you know. It's just like, oh my god. But yeah, hanging over the door, this stall door. 2 minutes after I bought that, or ran that asshole's ticket, he's dangling it over the stall door. And this was a guy that never tipped. He would play Keno all day, and he would win, because he'd play all day. So eventually he'd win something. Wouldn't tip. Was real rude and yeah, fuck that guy. He's probably dead by now. You know, that was like 20 something years ago. But yeah, ever since that day I've had a distaste for Keno. The game Keno, or any of those games you gotta deal with. And it's always a bar where you got 10 other things to do. Like the bars that make you like cook food and bartend and wait tables and shit that have the fucking Keno machine too. Why not? And it's always the thing that holds you up. You get somebody that's like, oh, let me run all 36 of these tickets. Oh, can you check this ticket for me? Even though there's a Keno checker. Check your own goddamn ticket. Sorry. Getting flashbacks of like bartending, having to deal with the Keno machine. Freaking out. Freaking out, man. But yeah, I don't know. I never got into gambling. You know, I've had some issues with substances and stuff in my life. I'm not afraid to say that. I've gotten over them. But I never understood the gambling thing. Never understood it. Like, what do you get out of that, you know? Didn't seem like you get anything. Lose all your freaking money. Be broke, and, you know, I just never understood it. You know, I've known some gambleholics. I've had a couple friends that were gambleholics that would pawn their shit. That were just, you know, we'd go to the casino. The kind of people that are so gambleholic that they'll hit on an 18. You know, we playing blackjack and, you know, boom, they'll get 18, hit me. You know, and the dealer's like, are you sure about that, sir? Yep, hit me. And it's just like, what the hell? Out of money. Yep. So I never understood it. It's kind of like that boss man Jack. I'm sure you heard of that guy before. The kind of, he'll get freaking $100,000 and then blow it all. Doing online gambling at like $5,000 a freaking reel. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. He's doing it though. It's crazy. People send him the money so that he can lose it, so that he can freak out, so that they can, you know, make content basically. I don't know, some kind of reciprocal wheel of content, you know? Weird. Weird situation, but true. The boss man Jack. Alright, so a couple of these buildings will make like this. But yeah, the gambling, I never understood it. Never will. Yeah, that boss man Jack, he's lost more money than I've ever made in my life. And he's living at his parents' house, you know? It's like, bro, it's time to look into a mirror, man, my guy. I think the gambling is no good for you. Yeah. And it's like, I hope my kid doesn't end up like that. You know, I often wonder, like, what would you do if your kid ended up as some, like, degenerate fiend of whatever, you know? And it's just like, oh, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Doesn't seem like it'd be very fun. Especially if they're a gambleaholic. Just for whatever reason, they seem to be the worst. I don't know why. I do not know why. I don't know what the deal is. It's like, I'm sure there's some kind of, chemical that's released in the brain when they win. Because, it just doesn't make sense to me otherwise. What do you get out of being a gambleaholic, Like, what the hell would make somebody hit on 18 where the dealer is even like, sir, I don't think you should do that, What's going through your head when you do that? Well, I know what's going through your head. It's like, I can make this much money if I, and I'll win super big and I'll. Holy fuck. It's just amazing to me. I just don't understand it. Never gonna. Alcoholics, sure, understand them. Drug addicts, no problem. Gambleaholics, I don't get it. Like, yeah, I don't mind gambling once in a while. But, like, once in a while, like years, Like I said, maybe I'll get a couple lotto tickets. But the way I'm looking at it is like, alright, if I win anything, it's 100%. It's 100% because I didn't pay anything for this ticket, for this present, really. So it's like, shit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Probably won't do anything just because seems like a pain in the butt. Yeah, probably won't do anything just because I'll guilt myself into thinking, well, you could have spent that on gas, man. So I'm sure I'll just get gas with it. Never went on a freaking scratch house anyway. Never went on them. So, fuck it. Don't bother with it. Get some gas and be all over with this Christmas. Thank God. And then soon enough, the next one will be here, pestering me. I don't mean to be such a humbugger. But I am kind of a humbugger. Nothing against Christmas. You're all good, Christmas. We all like you. Yeah, we all like you, Christmas. Nothing against you. Let me see what we got going on here. This is that pin that blew up on me yesterday. Hopefully I can use it. Alright, still working, even though it blew up on me yesterday. Yeah, that boss man Jack, I've seen him blow, thousands of dollars on a hand of this digital poker. That's the other thing, is like, do you really trust that fucking thing? I don't know. I don't know if I trust any of that digital shit. Don't call me old-fashioned, but it just seems like it's too easy to rig something like that, It just, I don't know. Just seems too easy. Perhaps I'm crazy, maybe it's backed by some kind of reputable thing that, won't allow it to do, I don't know. Fill it in the blanks, people, in the comment section. Are those online gambling things, like, are you able to just do whatever on those and nothing happens? I mean, how does it work? Asking for a friend. Because I'm ignorant to it, to the details, of how it works. I'm always curious about that. Like, how can you totally trust these? At least at a blackjack wheel, you're there. You're staring at it, and it's like, can't be too, unless they're manipulating the wheel itself. It's like, can't be too, it's like, how do you know? I guess that's my only gripe, is like, how do you know that shit's legit, without testing it, or I don't know. I just don't know how those things are legit. That online gambling stuff. This seems like it'd be too easy to manipulate. Seems like it'd be way too easy to manipulate, but maybe I'm crazy and I don't know anything. It's probably what's going on. Usually is. But if that's the case, then how do they do it? You know, what's guaranteeing that mechanism? You know, what's giving people the faith to give that thing tons of money every day for gambling events or sporting events, you know? Gotta be something. Giving people the faith to keep going. There just has to be. I'll figure it out. I'll look it up later. What is keeping people giving money to these gambling sites? You know, and ever since these gambling sites came around, that's when all the accusations of rigged football came around, if I'm remembering correctly. You know, when all these sites came around, that's when people were starting to say, oh, the refs are making shitty calls, and, you know, and it's true. If you see some of the calls they're making, they are pretty bogus. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of fucking money involved here. And where there's money involved, there's usually crime involved. I mean, we might not know the half of it. There might be all sorts of international criminals and stuff involved with these online gambling sites, you know? Fuck. Why not? Especially in countries that aren't that reputable, where it's easy to bypass the law and there's no regulations and no mechanisms to do anything about it, you know? I could totally see it. I mean, that's all governments are. Governments are just big mafias. They do all that kind of stuff, so I don't think it's too out of the realm of possibility that some backwards country somewhere is pulling some shit like that from the strings. I mean, look at all the scamming going on in America all the time. Usually coming out of, you know, India or Eastern Europe, these countries that are very prone to corruption on a municipal scale, you know. People are corrupt there all the way up, and everybody knows it, you know. So it's like, those are the countries that are doing this kind of shit all the time. So we gotta keep an eye on those places. But then our own people, our own congressmen and whatever, they're all corrupt as shit too. So it's like everybody's corrupt. What do you even do about it, you know? And everybody's crooked as a question mark on both sides of it, you know? And I bet you they just make all these laws and shit to appeal to people like you and me, so that we think that stuff's actually getting done. Oh, you see, they prosecuted. They raided this place in India and arrested all those fucking scammers that call me 150 times a day. Yeah, they do that every now and then. Just like the cartels in Mexico will let a load get caught every now and then to give the cops, you know, something to do and a feeling like they're winning, you know? So, yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all that these countries are in cahoots with these cartels or whatever in scamming people. Make a lot of money. The liquor store I work at right now, there's this guy. That's a guy that I know that I used to bartend for back at one of my first bartending gigs back when I was like 20 years old, many years ago. And he is constantly asking me where he can get gift cards so that he can send them to this lady he's trying to take care of in Africa. And it's just like, I tell him, bro, that's a hustler. That's somebody trying to rip you off. And, he's just enthralled with it, and I keep telling him, the technology involved, I keep showing him the videos and the warnings, and he just doesn't want to listen, and he's sending this African scammer money, even though everybody's telling him what's going on, and this African scammer has never sent him a picture of herself, never sent him any kind of information for the tons of money that he sends her. And it's like, so people do fall for these scams. Older people usually that are ignorant, really, to how it is these days. And it's sad. It's sad to see it, but it happens. Gift cards, he wants to sell. It's like I work at a liquor store, and he's trying to buy freaking gift cards. Thank God he doesn't have a vehicle, or he just go to Walmart. And that's what he does, that's what these scammers want. They want these old timers to buy them gift cards and then send the gift cards to wherever the hell, their pickup house. And it's just like, oh my God, you're getting scammed, bruh. But they don't want to believe you. No, I'm in love. This is a lovely lady that loves me. And it's just like, no, man, you're getting scammed. But you can lead a horse to water, right? But you can't make them drink. And that's how it is with a lot of these old timers now, they're getting lonely, getting old, and they want to have connection and stuff. And unfortunately, it's leading to a lot of them getting scammed by people that exploit that need and want for connection and companionship, That Brian guy is getting older. He's got to be pushing 70, and he lives in a little bedroom, in a little shitty bedroom, a little shitty single room occupancy, and he's probably a miserable fucking guy. And I can get why he wants some companionship. I totally do. But, don't, not at that price, No, thank you. And nothing ever happens. Yeah, the government's like, oh yeah, we're on it, we're busting these people over in these other countries, and it's like, no, you're not. It takes cooperation from those other countries to get that shit done. And like I said, you can't get that cooperation